plans fresh audit of 2.7 trillion subsidy debt.
Kogi Governor Ododo spent 100 days serving Bello as special driver, says Okai.
Police probe e-money over 1.2 billion dispute with Lagos Power.
Tinubu blackmailed into approving cybersecurity levy policy, says Dikwa.
2.7 billion fraud. Court grants Saraki daughter-in-law 100 million bill each.
NNPP berates Tinubu for inflicting unnecessary hardship on Nigerians.
Nigerian Air Saraki daughter charged with 2.7 billion fraud.
We will increase POS charges. Operators knock Nigerian government over registration requirements.
CAC registration, police to go after illegal POS operators. And that is the headline for today's newspaper review. Before we actually go into the review proper, my name is Charity Odo, and with me is
Oluwatomilola Lawal.
All right. We'll be right back so that we'll dive into the body of the story. Online video and television, and it's morning nugget with your girl Charity Odo as well as Lawal Oluwatomilola. Before we actually went to that particular break, we are read to use some of the headlines that you can find on the pages of the newspaper this morning. And from my end, we have federal government plans fresh audit of 2.7 trillion subsidy debt. And the body of the story says the federal government is set to commence the fresh audit of the 2.8 trillion fuel subsidy claim by the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited. And for more details of that story, you can check the Punch newspaper this morning.
Kogi Governor Ododo spent 100 days serving Bello as special driver, says Okai. The 2023 People's Democratic Party (PDP) candidate for Dekina/Pase Federal Constituency, Usman Okai, has said Governor Usman Ododo of Kogi State spent his first 100 days in office around the former governor of the state, Yaya Bello, with taxpayers' money. In a statement he signed, the PDP chieftain said that instead of focusing on the pressing issues that plagued the state's education, healthcare, as well as infrastructure, Ododo chose to prioritize the whims of a political ally over the needs of the people. It's a very long one. To get our story, you can check the Daily Post newspaper with the headline, Kogi Governor Ododo spent 100 days serving Bello as special driver, says Okai.
Alright, this one is coming from the Punch newspaper, and it says 2.7 billion naira fraud. Court grants Saraki daughter-in-law 100 million naira bill each. A Federal Capital Territory High Court, Abuja, on Thursday granted the former Minister of Aviation and Aerospace, Adi Abubakar Saraki, bail. The court also granted his daughter Fatima Adi Saraki and in-law Jalal Amal bail. Saraki, his daughter, son-in-law, and Aldocadrio Investment Limited were charged to court over alleged 2.7 billion naira fraud in connection with the botched Nigerian Air project by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. For details of this particular story, you can also check the Punch newspaper this morning.
Tinubu blackmailed into approving cybersecurity levy policies, says Dikwa. Elder statesman and Dean of Bornu Elders Forum, Professor Khalifa Dikwa, had said that President Bola Tinubu's administration was blackmailed into approving the cybersecurity levy policy initiated by the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN. Dikwa made a statement in an interview with newsmen on Wednesday, saying these forces cannot be seen and rely on or intimidation to get their bidding done, while saying that Tinubu's administration is blackmailed into making these policies. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives have stepped down a motion seeking the suspension of the cybersecurity levy, which has brought about negative reaction from Nigerians. It is a very long one. If you're interested in that story, you can check the Daily Post
But
newspaper
I wish the bill
as well as
better
the Nation.
pass. The bill better pass.
I do also.
Yes, there
I
should
do
be
also.
a cancellation
I
from my
also.
end, if you ask me. Alright, this one is coming from the CAC registration. Police to go after illegal POS operators. The federal government has said mandatory registration of point of sales operators nationwide will reduce kidnapping and help security agencies arrest recipients of ransom payments from kidnapped victims. It also vowed that security agencies would go after POS operators who fail to comply with the directive to register with the Corporate Affairs Commission after July 7, 2024. And this is to tell you that the deadline for the registration of your point of sale, that is the POS with the CAC, is 7th of July 2024. So if you know you are into POS business, ensure that you register with CAC to avoid, this disconnection actually. So for more details of that story, you can check the Punch newspaper this morning.
I also have a similar story to that POS here. It says we will increase POS charges. Operators knock Nigerian government over registration requirement. Operators of some point of sale in the federal capital have faulted the new directives of the Cooperative Affairs Commission (CAC) for them to register with the commission. The POS operators vow to increase service charges following the development. Reacting to the directive, POS operators in an interview with NAND on Wednesday said the registration, which would require money, would impact customers' transaction cost and eventual service charges increase. It is actually a very long one as well. If you're interested in that story, you can check the Nation's newspaper with the headline, "We will increase POS charges. Operators knock Nigerian government over registration requirements."
I think majority of the news we have this morning is just all about money, money, money,
Exactly.
money.
That's what we are dealing with in Nigeria presently.
Yes. Alright, this one is coming from the camp of e-money, yeah, one of the entertainment gurus, and says police probe e-money over 1.2 billion naira dispute with Lagos firm. And this is of the story says the chief executive officer, Emikago, and Shipping Services Limited, Emeka Okonkwo, aka e-money, is under investigation at the Force Criminal Investigation Department Annex, Alagmo, over alleged 1.2 billion naira dispute with a vehicle dealing company, also Corp Limited, in the Lagos State. And a police source who claimed anonymity also spoke with the Punch newspaper this morning that Okonkwo and the aggrieved party had been invited for questioning, adding that another meeting has been scheduled for the case. To get details of this particular story, you can also read the Punch newspaper this morning.
I really do hope we get a positive outcome from that.
Yeah, actually.
But that's it. I also have this one here. NNPP berates Tinubu for inflicting unnecessary hardship on Nigerians. The new Nigeria People's Party (NNPP) has criticized President Bola Tinubu's administration, stating that it has caused untold hardship on Nigerians. Malam Aminu Ibrahim, the leader of NNPP and former gubernatorial candidate in Jigawa State, disclosed this after receiving thousands of APC and PDP loyalists who defected to NNPP on Wednesday in his house in Dutse. He added that as an opposition party, they had given the ruling party the benefit of doubt for almost a year, but there was still no sign to show for it. Therefore, they have concluded arrangement to challenge the ruling party at the national and state level. So meaning they are no longer given the full power to either APC or PDP. They are also coming.
I think the point of they coming to challenge the government is very needed because
really
I noticed
needed.
that Nigerians, we are so used to suffering that people hardly speak up.
Yeah.
We hardly challenge our government.
Even when you speak up, aside from challenging governments, how many have they implemented?
The thing is, we joke a lot. We joke a lot about trending things, even things that are causing us pain. You see people make memes out of it and jokes. So we hardly take things serious. So
I feel people are just doing that just to buy time. At least in the midst of being too serious and in the midst of hardship, you need
Just to
something
make
to
yourself
cheer you
happy.
up and make yourself happy.
Alright, this one concerns our health and it's coming from the World Health Organization and says no sign yet of H5N1 bird flu spreading between humans, says the World Health Organization chief. The United Nation Health Agency, World Health Organization, says the H5N1 avian influenza virus has so far shown no signs of adapting to allow human to human transmission. So far, one human case has been reported in the United States since the outbreak of the bird flu among the millions of dairy cattle across the country. At least 220 people are monitored and at least 30 has been tested. So this is to put our mind a little bit at rest that this particular virus H5N1 has not been
Spread,
spreading
yeah.
between humans. Just I think
It's just between cattle
exactly
and
cattle, and that is why we are saying that those who are in charge of cattle should also take proper care of them because these cattle are being consumed
yeah,
by
yeah. And
humans.
we Nigerians should be very careful as well. We
Yeah,
need to check
yeah.
out what cattle we are actually buying.
All right, that is it on the newspaper review this morning. That is for the first segment, but still, please stick with us. We are still coming back for the second segment, and that is when we're back from this particular short break. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. It's still OECS online video and television, and you're listening to Morning Nuggets on on OECS online radio and television this morning. And we just finished the first segment. That is the segment for the newspaper review, and we are proceeding to the second segment of this morning. This is where we talk about trending issues as well as issues that are of public concern in and outside Nigeria. I am Charity Odo. I am still your big girl, and I'm still hanging out with.
Oluwatomilola Flower, in case you're just joining us.
Welcome. All right. Okay. So this morning we'll be talking about the recent explosion that has been happening. We talk about some of the as well. We also share and prefer little solutions to how to go about.
About it.
Yes, yes. Because recently there's been various updates as regards explosions here and there. We have the case of the ones that happened at Delta State, the ones that happened at River State. As you know, it's been kind of rampant and it's because it's getting out of hand. So this morning we would actually like to discuss some of the causes of explosion as well as how to go about them in order to reduce the risk of being a victim of explosion in our community. All right, so Oluwatomilola, I would like to ask you, what do you think? Like, what are the things that you think causes explosion in our environment today?
Well, we have a lot of things that causes explosion, but I'll just be bringing out the common ones that do occur lately.
Okay.
Firstly, let's start from the human error.
Yeah.
Human error in the sense that fatigue can set in. You can be tired when driving, and things like that. When a driver is so tired to drive, it can actually cause an accident whereby, for instance, a tanker driver being tired while driving or falling asleep
Falling
while
asleep,
driving,
while
things
driving.
like that can actually cause explosion. Yes,
That's
that is
true.
for human factor. When you are tired, you can't control what you are carrying, the way you are driving, and
And in that
something
case,
like that
they're
can
just
actually
supposed to
happen.
park and at least get some rest.
But most of them, unfortunately, most of them are not. They're not reasoning that way. They just want to meet their target. Then secondly, let me say mechanical faults. Mechanical faults like you not maintaining your vehicles, you not checking out, and then you don't know it has little faults.
Little
In
faults,
fact,
yeah.
maybe it is overheating, or probably there's something wrong with the brake or the tire. You should be able to detect. That is why you have to do maintenance.
Maintenance, yeah.
And
You
I
check
feel
up.
yes, lack of maintenance actually causes this and mechanical faults. And this lack of maintenance actually leads to these mechanical faults. When you don't maintain your vehicles or your engines that you use, it
Yeah.
tends to develop fault, and then things like that can cause unexpected things that can happen on the road. So I feel these are most of the major things that actually causes this explosion. When you are tired, when you don't inspect thoroughly, and you tend to just put that vehicle on the road, it can cause what we are not even expecting. And also, let's talk about this heavy overloading.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything in this life you have to check the capacity. Everything has capacity. For your
Definitely,
gadgets, your
definitely.
gadget has their own capacity
You
of
even
what you can
batteries,
even, yes,
batteries
they
have
have their
capacity.
different capacities. There are times that you see that when you want to collect anything on your phone, it tends to tell you storage full.
Yeah,
That is,
yeah,
the
yeah.
capacity is beyond way what you want to collect on
Collect,
it,
yeah.
and it has a maximum of what it can actually receive. So same thing as the vehicle, it has the capacity of what it can actually carry. But then most of these people are not, they are not seeing it from that point. They just want
Exactly,
to, let me just
exactly.
pack this thing. Why is this thing big? It is big enough to
You know,
carry
some
this.
people will carry
Forget
some level
about
of
the
clothes that
appearance.
it will be so obvious that
Exactly. Most of them,
eh,
they don't, they only deal with appearance. Oh, man, akini itobi oye ko le gba nkan báyìí. Whereas it is
yeah,
not about the size, it is about the
yeah,
capacity.
exactly.
There are some vehicles that might actually be small, but whereas the capacity is higher than what you even expect. And there are some that will be big enough, but you
They
see
don't
that
have
the
the ability
capacity,
to
they don't
hold
have the capacity
that
to
weight.
carry what you're carrying, what you're trying to put inside. So I think these are most of the common factors. And also the last one, I'm saying not following safety rules and regulation.
Yeah, that's
You know,
true.
most of these
That's true.
drivers, they tend to misuse, like, let me just say misuse opportunity in this term. They misuse opportunity a lot, and they don't listen.
Yes,
They are so
there are some cases
careless.
that they don't no more, okay, now we are not even talking about, okay, maybe the sign, the rest stop, the traffic lights and all of
Yes,
that, but there are cases that you see traffic warden on the road trying to, but
that is
no,
why I'm
human
saying
beings are the
Nigerians are so careless. They are
human,
careless and stubborn. Let me use that word. They are
human
so
beings are the
stubborn.
most
They tell
difficult
you do not pass
citizens to
one
live.
way, you pass one way. Do not overtake on the road, you overtake. So most of these things are things I feel we really need to pay more attention to,
Attention
especially
to,
the
yeah,
federal
sure.
government, because Nigerians are so, they are careless and they don't pay attention to things. They are so
We just tend to do
stubborn.
things the
That's
way
it. They
we
feel like
want.
let's just do it. Nothing will happen. So I think these are most of the things that actually cause this explosion.
All right, I like the fact that you actually highlighted mechanical error and all of that. You know, speaking about mechanical errors, there are times that, once you notice that your vehicle is
It's
over is
overeating.
overheating,
Yes.
you are noticing that, okay, some smokes is coming out from where it's not supposed to.
Yes.
You understand, or probably you notice that, oh, okay, the kind of smoke that is coming out is getting out of hand. You are supposed to just park, get
Negligence. They neglect a lot of things. That's
exactly.
negligence. They just want to
They
meet their
just
target.
like, oh no.
You know, most of these companies have targets whereby they tell you that when you go in a day, maybe they are giving
Yes,
you percent.
yes,
It's
number of
way more
trips
beyond
you go.
percent. Do you know how many of lives have? Do you know how many people have lost their lives in the process of you saying you are trying to meet a target? So I feel negligence should not be involved in this situation.
And
You should not be there.
this is me saying kudos to all the drivers out there that are actually trying to follow all of these safety rules, because no, like, yeah, I give it to some drivers. Do you know, there was a day I was leaving Ondo to Ibadan. I was leaving Ondo to Ibadan, and on getting to Ife, the driver parked, and it was like, I was like, what is going on? All the passengers were asking what is going on, and it was like that his brake is faulty. Like that he was just trying to, ensure that at least we get to Ife before he stops and all of that. So everybody was kind of disappointed, because the vehicle was super conducive, comfortable for everyone, but we cannot say, oh, okay, just, he had to just look for another vehicle, put all passengers in, and we continued the journey. That's why I'm saying kudos to all the drivers that actually following all of the safety rules. But there are some that even if, let me not say, even if Jesus Christ told,
It
they will
is
still
actually
not.
happening everywhere, but it is common in Nigerians. We Nigerians,
We
are so
Nigerians, we
stubborn.
hardly listen.
It can be
Really.
funny at times.
Okay, no.
That's it.
Tommy, I would also like us to talk about, you know, some of the, we've spoken about the fact that you should ensure that you check your cars before leaving home and all of that. We've spoken about some of the causes. Now let us talk about how to curb explosions. Like, what are the ways in which we can actually reduce all of these, unfortunate incidents happening on our roads and all of that?
Okay, firstly, we have talked about maintenance. I will still hammer on that maintenance. Then maintenance is the main priority in this. You maintaining your gadgets, whatever, your mechanical device and everything, you maintaining it, checking them thoroughly. At least in a month, you should be able to do this inspection for like 5 times to know if, especially if it is a tanker truck and all, you need to maintain it, because even the human parts need maintenance.
Do you
So
know
not
that
to talk about vehicles.
doctors will advise that you go for checkup at least once
Exactly. Why do they tell you to treat malaria every 3 months? So that is it for a vehicle that now works almost every day on the road. you should always check for maintenance
No, but
in that.
speaking of what you just mentioned, I think I'm guilty. I don't know how I don't know how how true that is that you should ensure you treat malaria once in
It's
three
actually true.
months.
It's not every time when you break down that you tend to say you have malaria. There are times that you have malaria personally that you might
Really,
not even
the,
know.
the, the
So
problem here is that I can't even remember the last time I broke down.
it is not until you break down. You know there are some people that relatively when walking on the road, you might have malaria and you might not even know that you have
It's not even
malaria.
a matter of years. Like I can actually say
But girl, you
years.
really need to do better. You really need to do better. Negligence.
All through, when I was in school, I never went to the health center
That's so
because
bad.
there was
You
no
need to
reason
treat
for me
malaria
to.
every 3
I
months.
Even if I have a headache, I would rather go and sleep. I
And
will
then you
sleep,
say
and by the time I'm awake,
you
I'm
feel, oh
done.
my god, I just
Okay, I
let's
think
be
I need to do
honest,
better
you really
actually.
need to do better. So let's not deviate back to what we're talking about.
Okay.
So the second part, I think people need to follow safety rules and regulation.
Yeah.
Meaning, when they say don't overtake, do not overtake. Don't speed, do not speed. I'm so surprised whereby
And
you see
yeah,
most of these tankers on the road, on a busy road, and then you see them speeding.
Tommy, I wouldn't want us to go out of context. This is not we saying that, oh, okay, maybe a car is in your is going before you, and the car is just trying to slow you down. Like maybe there are some people that they can be so annoying that they will be in the middle of the road and they'll be talking to someone.
Sure, no, that's
You
even
understand?
different.
So, but
That's even a different case.
in places where you are not supposed to overtake, please do not overtake. And before you overtake, ensure that you on
Yeah, now that's it. Now
to
before you
notify
even
the
do
person.
it, you have to give
If you are
that
in
person
a
a signal.
bend,
Exactly.
don't overtake.
But on no
all of
occasion
that.
should you speed on a busy road.
Exactly.
A road that you know it is busy. Do not overspeed when it is not night, in a
Mhm.
broad daylight, and you are speeding. So I think they need to reduce that. Do not overtake. Before
Do
you
you know
even
that,
overtake, you need
Tommy,
to alert.
in developed countries, we see, even if we've not been there, but we watch movies, we see that whenever whenever a car is overspeeding, you see police vehicle at their back already telling them, they make use of this particular microphone, telling them to park or probably reduce their speed. But
Even if you
Nigeria,
have that here, implementing it
that's
is
the
the
issue.
main thing
Yeah.
for you to enforce it on. Even the policemen, do they even have the time to do that? That is one thing we should even talk about. So we really need a lot of things. And actually, I feel there should be a lot of government agencies on the road. These
Mhm.
safety agencies, at least from a stop to a place. You should be able to see at least when traveling, at least a maximum of you traveling for like 3 hours. You should be able to see like 15 at each checkpoint, if
Mhm.
not more than. Because there are times that these situations they are unforeseen circumstances. It is not something we pray for. They
Yeah,
happen.
yeah.
They happen due to any reason. So when we have some of these safety measures on the road, when we have these safety agencies and they have these safety measures, they'll be able to curb these things.
Well, I think there are some parts of the country, like there are some parts of Nigeria that they actually did well in terms of having security operatives on the road. Now let me cite an example. Between Delta State to, let's say, Enugu, Ebonyi State, you get to see, at least before you drive 1 hour, you've seen like 15 security
So that
operatives
should
on the road.
improve. That
But
should improve.
from Delta State down to, let me say, Ondo, you can hardly count like 10.
That should really improve.
So I really do not know the reason behind that.
This
I don't
is
know if it
saying
is
out to the federal
insecurities or
government
not.
out there to help us enforce a lot of security agencies on the road, because some of these situations are unforeseen circumstances. Nobody pray for it.
Exactly.
And any of it can happen at any time. So I feel most of these security agencies should be on the standby with their security enforcement and whatever. They should be there so that they could curb these things whenever this event actually occur. So that's one point from me. So I don't know if you have any
Yeah, I
other
would
thing to say.
also like to say that the government should, not only the government now, the government, the non-governmental organizations, as well as people who have a voice in the community, just like let's say the media. So they
Yes.
should ensure that there is enough awareness as regards the usage of roads, some of the safety precautions that should be on road, and all of that, just to create awareness. Because there are some things that people get to do and they don't know that it is actually bad.
It is.
But in the real sense, ignorance is never an excuse.
It is not.
It
It's
is
not
not
an
an
excuse.
excuse. Like it's not an excuse for doing something that is wrong. Because once they take you to court, you will not tell the court that it's because you are
Because
because
it's
you
not
do
that
not
you
know.
don't know about it. You
Especially
know
when it
about
has
it.
caused the other person harm. Sure you get. So it is actually important that there is enough awareness as well as sensitization as regards the usage of roads and some of the things that people can actually put in place, especially drivers, pedestrians, and some of the things they can put in place to actually reduce the rate at which accidents as well as explosion happens.
Okay.
And I also like to advise that the government ensure that, okay, for example, create special lanes for tankers, heavy duty trucks, as well as trucks that that, oh, okay, they carry heavy things, they carry should I say dangerous substances. As they should ensure that there's a special lane for them instead of getting mixed up with a busy roads and all of that. Though I would like to say, okay, maybe they should also ensure that maybe they can try working at night instead of during the day where everywhere is busy and all of that. But even that
Do you think
has
that
its
will work
own
out?
disadvantages
So
too.
that's it.
Yes. And one other thing is that all as long as you are a motorist, ensure that you have fire extinguishers
This is very, very
readily
necessary.
available in your cars, in your vehicles. Name it, what kind of vehicle, any kind of vehicles you are driving. Ensure that there is you are going around with fire extinguishers just to reduce the risk at which
That's
people,
it now.
we are exposed to
These are things that most of
explosion.
these road safeties actually pick people from, because when you see them on the road and they
Mm-hmm.
actually pick you, the first thing they ask is, where is your fire extinguisher? At times I used to feel like this
Maybe
thing
even
were not
where's
necessary.
your
But growing up now, I feel
seat
that
belt?
these things are necessary, because you traveling on a or on a busy road, you are not using your seat belt, you do
Mm-hmm.
not have driving license, you don't have fire extinguisher. Most of these things that you need to have, you do not have them. So I feel they are really, really doing a good job, and they need to keep that up. And taking it from that, creating awareness of the thing,
Yeah.
most people actually, this their negligence is getting out of hand. For example, using this as a case study, an
Okay.
accident actually happened one day, a particular day. Let me not disclose the location. And then the tanker spilled the oil on the road. Just for me to see people running there with keg
Uh-uh.
to go and take fuel. I was so shocked and surprised that day. I said, what
That's
is wrong with
serious.
people?
Nigeria,
What if this
Nigeria,
thing
my country.
What if this thing overheats and all of a sudden explode? You lose your life because you want to go and
And it's even a
take
busy road,
five.
right?
It is even a busy road. Things that I feel people should run away from that location. People need to run away and start
least
calling
meters
safety
away.
measures. You run away in as much as you notice a tanker already spilled oil on the road. You have to take your aid and run away from that vicinity. Leave. I just pray none of us will experience such. But I think Nigerians, we need a lot of public awareness. Because
Awareness,
some people do
actually.
not know the gravity of these things. It's even aside from stealing. Stealing is not even in this case. But you going there and risking your own life. What if there was overeating on that particular day? Do you know how many lives will have lost that day? I mean, been lost rather. Do you know how many lives will have been lost? So we really need to do better as Nigerians. We need not to do this negligence of a thing and take it to what we are meant to take it to.
And speaking on awareness, and that is why we are bringing it to you so that you know that there are lots of dangers associated with
This
explosion and all
thing,
of that.
yes.
Like it can do a whole lot of harm than good. Yes, I don't think there's even any good.
70%.
I'm not even sure there's any
or
good associated
80%.
with explosion. So please, let's ensure that we are taking the right measures, following the right safety precautions that has been laid down. And in case you don't know, please, aside these ones we've said, you can always look it up and
Yes.
get yourself equipped in terms of the right knowledge. Okay, and I think this is where we'll be drawing the curtain on this particular second segment where we spoke about explosions, how you can actually call this, as well as some of the causes. And we really do hope that you've actually enjoyed every bit of the program this morning. All right, before we draw the curtain, this is to actually bring to your notice that OECS online radio and television will be having its 4 weeks training for people who would actually want to skill up. Yes, because this is a time where you have to skill up, get some digital skills, and some of the skills that is readily available for you to equip yourself with is news coverage. We have photography, video editing, graphics design, as well as live streaming. For example, maybe you are part of the media unit in your church. You can always learn church live streaming, even using your phone as well as camera. So just come one, come all, as registration will be closing by on the 18th of May 2024. For contact information, Tommy, can you put us?
You can call the studio line 081 1255 or 090 60 74 73 49. I'll take it again. 081 12 55 22 22. 09060747349. In case you are getting it difficult to locate the location, we are located as Baptist Junction. Just tell the bike man or Mario or anybody that you are going to Baptist Junction. And when you get to Baptist Junction, ensure you put a call through to those numbers, or you can message us on WhatsApp. We'll be very much active. We would love to see you there. It will be a very, very great opportunity. So I'd love us to pay good use to that opportunity.
So like she said, we would actually love to see you. Yes, just ensure that you pick up your form here at the studio. Yes, ensure you pick up your form here at the studio. It will be very nice to actually have you. Alright, so like I said, we'll be calling it a day this morning on Morning Nugget here on OECS online video and television. It's been a pleasure having you. I am Charity Odo.
And I am Oluwatomilola Lawal. Please do join us next time with this same interest. We'd love to meet with you again. Bye.
Bye.